A lovely illustration of two small, cute girls, one with blonde hair and one with brown hair, surrounded by beautiful pink flowers. The scene then transitions to text panels that mention the name Lisa, followed by a heartfelt confession from someone who wants to be chosen and promises to bring happiness, ending with the suspenseful phrase, "The one I love is." The book's English title is then revealed, explaining that the main character, unable to achieve a family ending with the villainess's brother, will now aim for a lover's ending instead. After some text implying a conflict, the page shows a stern-looking blonde girl, Anna-Marie, with her arms crossed. In the background, pictures of the brown-haired girl are crossed out with large black X's. The story then focuses on this brown-haired girl, who is clutching her head in pain. She realizes that after hitting her head, all the memories from her past life have come flooding back. She is soaking wet, apparently in a fountain, as the blonde girl, Anna-Marie, stands over her, exclaiming that she didn't even notice her. The brown-haired girl thinks to herself that her plan worked, as she recognizes she is at the Valmont ducal household and that the blonde girl is the story's villainess, Anna-Marie. The brown-haired girl is filled with joy, thanking God for allowing her to be reincarnated as her favorite villainous character in the Otome game she adored. However, Anna-Marie angrily confronts her, demanding to know what nonsense she is babbling. This reaction confuses the brown-haired girl. She looks down at her reflection in the fountain water and is shocked to see her own brown-haired appearance, not the blonde villainess. She understands with a jolt that the real Anna-Marie is the one yelling at her. Looking up, she points in terror as she recognizes another person nearby as the game's actual heroine, Lisa, and wonders why she is there. The blonde girl, Anna-Marie, simply looks confused by this outburst. The brown-haired girl begins to panic, realizing this is all wrong and that she wasn't reincarnated as the villainess after all. This triggers a flashback to her previous life, showing her as a young woman who was very sick in a hospital bed. She explains that she had been sickly since childhood, and by the time she was 17, the doctors had given up on her. She had a difficult life and was only able to attend school for 3 days, remaining a first-year student forever while her childhood friend Chihayaki moved on. She had been desperately hoping for a chance at reincarnation. Another memory shows her friend visiting her in the hospital. Her friend asks if she is still obsessed with her Otome game. The girl, whose name was Kyoko, spent her final days in her hospital room, surrounded by all the things she loved, including images of the game's choice menus. She had regrets about her short life but felt lucky to have been surrounded by a loving family and friends. Kyoko recalls how much she loved the Otome game, Magic and Lover's Adventure. It was a fantasy romance RPG set in a magical world where the heroine, Lisa, was the only person who could use light magic. Sadly, the game company went bankrupt, so a sequel was never made. Although she loved all the characters, the one she loved most of all was the villainess's older brother, Heathcliff. The problem, she remembers, was that Heathcliff was not even a romanceable character. He was just a side character included for humor and support. While other love interests had 2 different endings, Heathcliff only had a single friendship ending. This left Kyoko feeling disappointed every time she played, even when she successfully pursued other characters like Prince Stefan. Back in the hospital, Kyoko tells her friend her greatest wish, to be reincarnated as the noble villainess, Anna-Marie, in Magic and Lover. She didn't want to be the villainess to be evil, but so she could live a fun and peaceful life with Heathcliff. Her friend is confused, pointing out that in the game's story, the Duke's family always falls from power in every ending. Kyoko brushes this off, saying it's fine as long as they don't all die. An image from the game even shows Anna-Marie scolding Heathcliff for his messy clothes. Her friend thinks this plan doesn't sound very happy, but Kyoko insists she didn't want to change the story or fight against fate. She just wanted to enjoy her days peacefully with Heathcliff. Her friend teases her, asking if she's planning a forbidden sibling romance, but Kyoko clarifies she just wants a simple, happy life. Her friend looks tired of the conversation. Kyoko then smiles, reasoning that even though she wasn't hit by a truck or overworked, she still had a chance to be reincarnated because she was already sick and loved Otome games more than anyone. In a touching moment, her friend begins to cry, telling Kyoko that in her new life, she should live exactly how she wants and fill her life with everything she loves. Her friend then wisely observes that Kyoko was always reserved, but deep down, she always wanted to be the main character, the one drawn in the center of the poster, not the girl in the corner. She wanted to be the heroine. The story snaps back to the present. The reincarnated girl, now realizing her friend was right, is standing wet in front of Anna-Marie. She thinks, I finally got reincarnated. But why is the heroine? Anna-Marie, annoyed, asks her what she is muttering about. A text box identifies the girl as Lisa, 17, the daughter of the Cordelia Count family. Lisa remembers her friend's words and decides that maybe the heroine role will be the more fun one after all. Lisa looks up from the fountain and sees the real Anna-Marie, 17, daughter of the Valmont ducal house, sitting at a nearby table with other girls. Lisa panics, realizing how pathetic her first words in this new world must have sounded. Anna-Marie asks her if she hit her head too hard. Lisa, still dripping wet, quickly recalls the game's original plot. This is the very first event, right after the Royal Magic Academy's entrance ceremony. In the game, Lisa, as the only light magic user in 300 years, captured everyone's attention, which made Anna-Marie jealous. This jealousy led to Anna-Marie calling Lisa to the Duke's house just to push her into this fountain. Lisa remembers that in the original story, Anna-Marie's fiancé, the prince, saw this act of bullying and became very disappointed in her. The new Lisa, however, thinks to herself that she can actually understand why Anna-Marie is so annoyed. Anna-Marie was a high-ranking, beautiful noble who was destined to become queen, and then suddenly Lisa appeared out of nowhere and stole the spotlight. Lisa looks at Anna-Marie and thinks, "I wanted to be you." Anna-Marie is visibly shocked by this statement and asks what nonsense she is saying. Lisa, however, just finds Anna-Marie's flustered reaction to be adorable. Anna-Marie, trying to regain her villainous composure, asks if Lisa is saying she admires her. Seizing the opportunity, Anna-Marie smugly says that if Lisa insists, she supposes she can let her join her group. Just then, another splash of water is about to hit them. Lisa shouts, "Watch out," but realizes she was too distracted by the conversation to move. She braces for impact, thinking they will both get wet. But to her surprise, Anna-Marie uses wind magic to create a barrier, deflecting most of the water, though they still get a little damp. Anna-Marie huffs, claiming she knew that was coming and could have avoided it herself. Lisa is simply amazed, realizing she is seeing real magic in action. At the table, two other girls are watching. One girl, identified as Daisy, 16, the daughter of a new baron, tells Lisa that if she's new, she should come and greet them properly. The other girl, Rose, 18, from the Berkeley Count family, scolds Daisy for her poor manners and tells them both to settle down before the tea gets cold. Lisa is completely overwhelmed with emotion, thinking that even though she's the heroine, she is so happy she could cry. She looks around at the beautiful scenery and the other girls, realizing that this is the real magic plus lovers world. The clouds are moving, and the world stretches out far beyond any game screen. She happily introduces herself as Lisa Cordelia, the new student. Rose introduces herself as Rose Berkeley and tells Lisa to just call her Rose. Daisy adds that they are supposed to ignore noble ranks at school, so Lisa can call her Daisy. Lisa is overjoyed, having made 3 new friends. Anna-Marie watches this interaction, thinking to herself that this Lisa is a bit different from what she expected. Lisa, in a cute, small form, just beams happily at Anna-Marie. Lisa is ecstatic, thankful to have a healthy body that can go outside and to have already made friends in her new life. Their conversation is interrupted by a smooth male voice asking if his handsome self has just wandered into a heavenly garden. A man with reddish-brown hair appears, and a text box identifies him as Heathcliff, 25, the eldest son of the Valmont ducal family. Lisa is instantly starstruck, her heart pounding. She thinks, the real one. This is the best reward in the entire world. Heathcliff. Anna-Marie, however, looks extremely annoyed and groans, "Ugh, brother." Heathcliff ignores his sister and continues to flirt with the group, calling them a gathering of delicate young flowers. Anna-Marie demands that he stop speaking nonsense to her guests. Heathcliff just smiles and announces his arrival. Daisy looks completely unimpressed, thinking she won't fall for his lines. Heathcliff then spots Lisa, calling her a divine flower, and asking if she could be the rumored Lady of Light. Lisa blushes bright red and eagerly stammers, but I'm Lisa." Heathcliff finds her reaction incredibly cute. He decides to tease her, leaning in and asking if she is blushing because she's dazzled by his good looks. He then reaches out to take her hand, playfully asking if she will burn up if he touches her. He gently takes her hand, and Lisa is in a state of shock, thinking, he's really holding my hand. She can feel that his hand is warm and soft, and it fits perfectly in hers. She realizes with a thrill that this is real. Heathcliff smirks, noting that she is getting warm and asks if it feels nice, which makes Lisa internally scream with excitement. Anna-Marie, seeing this, warns Lisa that if she doesn't shake him off, his teasing will only get worse. But Lisa is too flustered, thinking she could never do something so disrespectful to him. Finally, Anna-Marie has enough and yells. Heathcliff casually lets go and walks away, bidding farewell to his dear sister. After he leaves, the four girls sit at the table, with Lisa looking completely dazed. Anna-Marie apologizes for her brother's behavior, and Rose comments that he's always like that, but he isn't a bad person if you don't take him seriously. Lisa, however, is still in a blissful daze, surrounded by floating hearts. She sighs, "He was so cool." This reaction completely shocks Anna-Marie. Lisa continues, "It must be nice having a big brother like him." Anna-Marie is stunned, admitting that no one has ever envied her for having Heathcliff as a brother. Lisa thinks to herself that this was the real reason she wanted to be Anna-Marie, so she could live under the same roof as Heathcliff, as his little sister. Anna-Marie, perhaps trying to be helpful, then asks Lisa if she would like to be adopted. She points out that with Lisa's rare light magic, even the royal family would be eager to take her in. Lisa is horrified by the suggestion, thinking, "No, that feels like cheating." As someone who truly cherishes this world, she knows its rules. She remembers that in this world, people without magic, like Heathcliff, cannot be considered family or lovers, not even in political marriages. A page of text explains the laws of the Kingdom of Ordine. Magic is everything. All magic users, who have attributes like wind, water, fire, earth, or Lisa's special light, must attend the Royal Magic Academy for 3 years. Families that produce magic users are elevated to nobility, but if a noble family fails to produce a magic user for 3 generations, their family falls from grace. The chance of being born with magic is very low, about 1 in 10,000, so nobles often fight to adopt any magic user they find. Individuals who graduate from the academy without a family are granted the title of baron or baroness and given their own territory. This entire system exists to prepare the kingdom for the return of dark magic, a force said to bring ruin. Magical creatures have been appearing more frequently, making magic an essential defense. Lisa thinks about this, realizing, of course, Heathcliff has no magic. That's why he never attended the academy. Daisy then mentions that the academy is filled with nobles and potential partners, and this year, even a prince is attending. She quickly warns Lisa that Stefan, the crown prince, is off-limits. Anna-Marie notices that Lisa doesn't seem to have any interest in the prince. Lisa is lost in her own thoughts, wondering if there is a way to legally become Heathcliff's sister. She murmurs, "A way to become the villainous noble lady," and then accidentally says it out loud. Anna-Marie is outraged and yells. Lisa, realizing her mistake, quickly changes tactics, having just thought of a new way to get closer to Heathcliff. She bows deeply before Anna-Marie and shouts. Anna-Marie is completely baffled by this request. At that exact moment, a servant announces that Prince Stefan has arrived. Stefan, 17, the second prince, walks in accompanied by Theo, 17. Stefan says he was worried about Anna-Marie and came to check on her. Theo, however, sees Lisa bowing and Anna-Marie's shocked expression and smirks, asking, "Is this bullying?" Anna-Marie panics, shouting. Lisa quickly stands up and tells Anna-Marie to leave this to her. She declares that she has a special magic she could use even before coming to the academy. She unleashes her power text box, explains that this spell causes temporary amnesia by sending the target's consciousness drifting into the light. The light hits both Stefan and Theo, and their eyes go blank. They stand there, completely confused. Stefan asks, "Huh? Since when was I here?" And Theo wonders why they came. Anna-Marie is stunned, thinking she has never seen light magic like that before. Lisa quickly feeds them a new memory, explaining that she didn't know the location of the Valmont Duke's estate, so they kindly escorted her there. Lisa smiles brightly, thanking them both and waving goodbye, telling them to enjoy their tea party. The two boys, still confused, turn and leave. Lisa and Anna-Marie watch them go. Lisa turns back to Anna-Marie relieved and says, "That was close. I almost got misunderstood." She then eagerly continues, "So, about becoming one of your followers." Anna-Marie, completely flustered by the day's events, blurts out. From their table, Rose and Daisy watch the exchange. Rose calmly notes that as long as it's not technically an attack, Lisa's memory magic is allowed under academy rules. Daisy just sighs, thinking to herself, "I've befriended a very troublesome person, haven't I?" Unseen by the girls, Heathcliff's gloved hand is visible as he watches them from a window. Inside, Heathcliff's expression is serious. He looks down at his gloved hand, which is now covered in black, sooty marks. He pulls off the glove to reveal the burn on his palm. I actually got burned, he says to himself. He looks at the dark energy dissipating from his hand and murmurs, "Dark return." He then flops down into a nearby chair, sighing, that was hot. A small smirk appears on his face as he thinks, but if it's that girl of light, Lisa looking back with a bright expression. From her viewpoint, she watches her friends, 2 other young girls and a little boy, playing deeper in the woods as the boy runs toward them with his arms outstretched. One of her friends, Terrell, eagerly suggests they venture deeper into the forest to gather more supplies, not feeling they have enough. Lisa, however, looks up with concern, realizing they have already wandered quite far from their academy. Another friend agrees with Lisa and nervously asks Terrell to wait, suggesting it's time to return home, while a hand is shown gripping a nearby branch. Terrell smiles brightly, holding a flower she picked, and insists they just go a little bit deeper into the woods. A memory reflects that even though they were poor, she believed their peaceful life would last forever. As Terrell leads the other children further, Lisa suddenly stops, her face frozen in shock at something she sees. The peaceful memory continues, only to be shattered by the appearance of menacing eyes, followed by a terrible scream and the image of a basket tumbling to the ground. A massive, shadowy monster with sharp claws emerges from the trees, letting out a low growl. Lisa stands terrified, her eyes wide as she wonders what to do about the terrifying beast. Blood begins to drip, and seeing this, Lisa's fear turns into resolve, realizing she must protect her friends. With determination shining in her eyes, Lisa stands firm as her terrified friends huddle behind her. The monster lunges, and Lisa shouts her intention to protect them, unleashing a powerful magic spell called Radiant Oblivion. The monster dissolves into particles of light under the force of her spell. Her friends watch in amazement, calling the magic beautiful and incredible. Lisa herself looks stunned by what she just did. Later, an adult woman praises Lisa, telling her how incredible that was and that she has wonderful news. The woman smiles, explaining that because of her magic, Lisa has received multiple adoption offers from noble families. The story explains that Lisa possesses the rare light attribute, making her highly sought after by noble families as an adoptive child. Eventually, she was taken in by the Cortelia Count family. After settling into her new, lavish home, it was time for the entrance ceremony of the Royal Magic Academy. We then see Lisa waking up in an elegant canopy bed, realizing she was just dreaming about the events from a year ago. Now in the present, Lisa starts her second day at the academy from her perspective, stretching in her room. The scene shifts to the Grand Royal Magic Academy, the only magic training institution in the entire kingdom. This academy provides dormitories for students who come from distant homes. Lisa observes her new classmates, noting that most of the students are nobles who already know one another from their social circles. While she lives in the dorms, her new friends Anna Marie and Stefan commute from their homes. As Lisa walks through the academy, she reflects on how she is attracting a lot of attention, being both a newcomer and possessing the rare light attribute. Fortunately, she has a secret. She knows this world from a game she played in her past life, which helps her handle these new situations without much trouble. Just then, someone is heard calling her name. Lisa sits at breakfast with 2 other students, reflecting that she never experienced a normal school life in her previous life, making everything feel new and exciting. She also notes that there are many details in this world that were never shown in the game. One of the girls, Rose, asks Lisa if she finds the dorm rooms to be a bit small. Lisa, however, inwardly thinks that for a single room, it's actually quite spacious. Rose continues, complaining that her belongings don't fit at all and she's having trouble. Lisa muses that if a true noble like Rose finds it small, then it must be, but Rose quickly clarifies that social hierarchy doesn't matter here. The other girl, Daisy, explains to an impressed Lisa that Rose actually defied her parents' wishes, choosing to stay in the dorms specifically to gain social experience. Daisy smiles, saying she won't be bored anymore now that she has both Rose and Lisa to talk to, and Rose adds she's glad Lisa thinks her decision is admirable. Lisa smiles warmly, thinking to herself about how much fun dorm life is and how happy she is to be with friends. Daisy then turns to Lisa with a more serious expression, apologizing for the previous day. She admits that it might have seemed like she called Lisa out just to be mean, and she's sorry about that. Daisy explains that both she and Anna Marie were actually a bit jealous of Lisa. Lisa quietly sips her drink, realizing these are personal moments and memories that were never part of the game she remembers. This triggers another flashback to the day before the entrance ceremony, where new students were being directed to take their magic power assessment. We see Lisa waiting in line just as Anna Marie and her group are called up next. Anna Marie steps forward and confidently conjures intense, swirling flames, causing other students to murmur in admiration. The assessor then calls for the next candidate and upon seeing Lisa, recognizes her, asking if she is the rumored Lisa. As other students turn to stare at her, a nervous Lisa confirms her identity. The assessor kindly reassures Lisa, telling her not to be nervous and that the test is simply to check her magic attribute. Lisa approaches a large crystal orb on a pedestal. The assessor instructs her to place her hands on the orb and just breathe naturally. As Lisa touches the orb, it erupts in a breathtakingly beautiful display of light magic, stunning the assessor who remarks she has never seen it before. A narrator explains that in this world, the standard elements are fire, water, wind, and earth. Darkness does not exist, and Lisa is the only person who possesses light magic. The other students, including Daisy and Anna Marie, watch this display. The narration continues, stating the test also registers each person's unique magic signature. This is important because the Academy and other magical institutions oversee all magic in the country, playing a major role in maintaining public order and even influencing politics. For graduates, particularly nobles, the most prestigious career path is to join the Magic Bureau, which is considered the highest honor. Passing this magic test is the crucial first step toward that goal. Because all magic leaves traces, any spell cast from this point forward will be recorded in the system, though Lisa has no intention of misusing her powers. Back in the present at the breakfast table, Rose says she might be a while and tells the others to go on ahead. Daisy mentions she is meeting Anna Marie later, so she will catch up with them then. Rose cheerfully concludes that they will all take their classes together as a group of 4. Later, Lisa walks alone through the academy grounds, thinking about her schedule. The morning only has one class at 10 a.m., and even after taking her time with breakfast, she still has a full hour to spare. She wanders into the academy gardens, admiring how magnificent they are, which she feels is expected of an academy located right next to the royal palace. As Lisa walks along the path, a voice suddenly shouts at her, warning that she almost stepped on him. Startled, Lisa stops and looks down, offering a quick and flustered apology. She finds a handsome young man, Theo Rassaway, lounging on the grass. He smiles up at her and says he recognizes her as the girl from the day before, identifying her as the light mage, Lady Lisa. Lisa immediately panics internally, recognizing this as a classic meet-cute event from the game. A target character was just lying on the ground. She thinks to herself that it's just like a heroine to trigger these encounters simply by walking around. Theo sits up, confirming he knows exactly who she is, and formally introduces himself as Theo Rassaway. Lisa smiles and politely greets him as Lord Theo of the Rassaway Count family. He casually tells her to just call him Theo, but then adds a warning that he doesn't treat any girl in a special way. Lisa's smile becomes strained as she internally recognizes this comment. She identifies it as his classic passive-aggressive warning, noting that he's being cold to her, but she understands the reason behind it. Lisa cheerfully reassures him not to worry, stating she has no intention of sticking close to him just to get closer to Prince Stefan. This comment leaves Theo completely stunned, his eyes wide with surprise. Recovering, he remarks that since she's already figured that out, it saves him the trouble of shooing her away. He then lies back down on the grass, explaining that he's exhausted because Stefan wakes up far too early and he plans to go back to sleep. As Lisa watches him settle back to sleep, she inwardly admires that, as expected of a main love interest, he manages to look elegant even while sleeping on the ground. She quickly turns away, however, clenching her fist with determination. She reminds herself that she is loyal only to Heathcliff and no one else, as Theo murmurs in his sleep. Lisa walks away from Theo, passing a large, ornate fountain in the courtyard. She spots her friends Anna Marie, Rose, and Daisy standing together and calls out a cheerful good morning, specifically greeting Anna Marie. Daisy greets her in return, but just as they meet, a new voice says, "Finally found you," and a man appears, calling himself Lucky. Anna Marie and Rose are visibly shocked, identifying the newcomer as Lord Heathcliff. Heathcliff ignores them and focuses entirely on Lisa, declaring that they shared a fateful moment yesterday and inviting her to call him whatever she likes, even my dear. A flustered Lisa shyly stammers out his name. Heathcliff then glances at Anna Marie and her companion, telling them good job, but also remarking that he told them there was no need to escort him. He explains to Lisa that while Anna Marie is important, it's just brotherly affection, before turning back to Lisa with a bright smile, declaring that her soul resonates with his. Heathcliff leans in close, taking Lisa's hand and confessing that, to be honest, his sister was just an excuse. He admits he actually came specifically because he wanted to see Lisa. He then asks if she wants to continue from yesterday, joking that he has already taken precautions so he won't get burned by her fiery passion again. Internally, Lisa is screaming that she would love to, but she holds herself back. She thinks that if she gives in and throws away her shame, she'll just become an annoying heroine and ruin the world's aesthetic. Her priority must be to stick to the original story first. Outwardly, she nervously gestures to her friends, pointing out that they are watching. Heathcliff smiles understandingly, saying he would love to have a long, deep conversation with the Lady of Light, but for today he will retreat. As Heathcliff walks away, Lisa clutches her chest, overwhelmed. She resolves that this precious daily life is what she must protect. Anna Marie then gently reminds Lisa that they should probably head to class soon. Lisa is still reeling, thinking to herself that this is a storm of happiness to deal with first thing in the morning. Lisa suddenly and dramatically embraces Anna Marie, startling her. Lisa declares that she will protect this peaceful routine, swearing an oath on the name of the Valmont Duke family. She reflects that she's been thinking since yesterday about what she should do as someone reincarnated as the heroine. Her primary goal becomes clear: she must first protect Heathcliff's household and prevent their future downfall. To achieve this, she realizes, the villainess must get along so well with her fiancé that breaking off their engagement becomes completely impossible. This is Lisa's new plan. As the group walks down an open-air corridor, Rose mentions they still have about 30 minutes of free time and suggests they go to class early to review. Lisa, however, dismisses the idea, suggesting they go at the last minute instead. Lisa suddenly stops just before a corner, thinking to herself that if she turns this corner first, something will happen. Anna Marie notices her pause and asks if something is wrong. Lisa flashes to an image of herself bumping into Prince Stefan, realizing that she feels like she's about to bump into the prince and trigger a fated encounter. Her friends look at her, confused, while Anna Marie wonders if this is both a pinch and a chance. Lisa reflects that this situation, just like her encounter with Theo, feels exactly like a pre-scripted meet-cute event. She decides this must be some weird, permanently active skill she possesses as the heroine. This sparks a memory from her past life, where she lay in a hospital bed thinking about how Otome game heroines always seem to run into people by chance and get liked far too easily, charming others just by smiling. Her past self wondered if this was a passive skill, before shrugging off the thought. Back in the present, Lisa comes to a decision: she will name this power the heroine's skill. She immediately turns to Anna Marie, declaring that this event, this fated encounter, is Anna Marie's chance to get closer to the prince. Anna Marie is completely flustered, blushing and questioning Stefan. Lisa, now fully excited, grabs her and insists Anna Marie tell her more immediately. Lisa earnestly promises Anna Marie that she will do everything she can to ensure she and the prince end up happy together, leaving Anna Marie to just stammer in confusion. Lisa then enthusiastically reveals her plan, which she calls the turn the corner and bump into the prince strategy, complete with a visualization of Anna Marie bumping into Prince Stefan while exclaiming, "I'm late." She turns to her other friends, Rose and Daisy, and asks if they will help too. Daisy grins, saying it sounds much more fun than studying, and Rose cheerfully agrees to help if it's something she can do. Lisa immediately begins coaching, telling Anna Marie to practice saying, "I'm late." Anna Marie tries, but looks incredibly embarrassed, protesting that she has never been late for anything in her entire life. Lisa insists that she must match the details of the event perfectly for it to work. She then turns to Rose, telling her to think of it as a spell, and asking if her magic is ready, to which Rose confidently replies, "Yes, anytime." Daisy joins in, promising to keep an eye on their surroundings and let them know if anyone gets in the way. Anna Marie weakly practices her line, I'm late, which causes Lisa to yell that she's lacking spirit. Just as they are about to start, Lisa exclaims that she almost forgot something and tells Anna Marie to excuse her for a second as she dashes off. Lisa runs down the hall and peeks around the corner they were trying to avoid. She spots her target and whispers, "All right." Prince Stefan is seen walking down the adjacent corridor, engrossed in a book, completely unaware of the plan unfolding. Lisa dashes back to her friends, waving her arms frantically and shouting. Anna Marie pushed into action. Anna Marie takes off running toward the corner, shouting. As Anna Marie runs, Rose, who is hidden in the nearby bushes, casts her magic, chanting wind of substitution. The prince looks up from his book just as the spell hits, letting out a confused, "Huh," as the magic takes effect, seemingly pulling him toward the corner just as Anna-Marie arrives. Anna-Marie, a girl with long blonde hair, turns a corner and runs straight into Prince Stefan, letting out a surprised. The impact is shown with a large effect, and Stefan reacts as Anna-Marie falls to the ground. He stands over her, looking surprised, and identifies her as Anna-Marie, noting that she startled him. Anna-Marie, sitting flustered on the floor, worries that she is late but then looks up in shock, realizing she has bumped into Stefan. He kindly reassures her that they still have time and don't need to worry. As she remains on the ground, blushing, Anna-Marie thinks to herself that she already knew they had time. Stefan watches her, putting a finger to his chin and thinking that it is very interesting and kind of cute that someone as responsible as her also has this flustered side. Anna-Marie looks up and asks him what he is thinking about, and Stefan smiles brightly before offering her his hand. Anna-Marie blushes and tells him not to say such strange things. She looks up at him, noting internally that he is being unusually friendly and is even calling her by her first name so casually. Stefan leans down slightly, offering his hand again and telling her to take it so he can help her up. Anna-Marie looks at his hand and then places her own in his. Stefan gently pulls her to her feet, and she looks at him with a shy, blushing expression as they stand together. From a distance, hidden in some nearby bushes, 3 other girls are secretly watching the entire interaction unfold. One of the girls, the heroine Lisa, peeks out and thinks to herself, "I knew it." Back with the prince, Stefan and Anna-Marie begin to walk together down an outdoor corridor. He smiles and tells her that she could lean on him more, which makes her blush and look away. She apologizes for bumping into him and explains that it would be a problem if he were the one to fall. Stefan replies that he should apologize too and asks if she is hurt, calling her Anna-Marie again. He then asks her to wait a moment and steps behind her, explaining that her ribbon came undone. He proceeds to retie the ribbon in her hair, admitting he might not be as skilled as her maid but adding that this flustered state is the Anna-Marie he knows. His kind gesture makes Anna-Marie blush bright red, unable to speak. Suddenly, Anna-Marie realizes they were being watched and yells for everyone to come out. Lisa and her 2 friends emerge from the bushes, one friend complaining that it was just getting good, while Lisa smiles and wishes Prince Stefan a good morning, Your Highness. Stefan greets them all back, observing that they all seem very close, while Anna-Marie stands beside him, still blushing. Stefan then recognizes Lisa and asks if she is from the Cortellia family. Lisa confirms this and adds that she is always grateful for Anna-Marie's kindness. Hearing this, Stefan smiles and winks, asking Lisa to please take care of his fiancée. He then turns to Anna-Marie, telling her he will see her in class and reminding her not to be late. Anna-Marie looks up at him, blushing deeply as she agrees. After he walks away, Lisa's friends gather around her, congratulating her on getting to talk so much with the prince. Anna-Marie, meanwhile, simply looks at Lisa. Lisa thanks her friends, and one enthusiastically cheers for her love. Lisa reflects internally that at first, this was just a random idea, but in that moment, she realized something important. Later, the group is sitting in a large lecture hall as an instructor details the upcoming curriculum, which will include the history of magic, theology, and proper etiquette for nobles. Prince Stefan is shown in class, resting his head on his hand with a slightly bored expression. As the lecture continues, Lisa has a profound internal realization. She has successfully changed Anna-Marie's villainous downfall flag. This thought leads her to wonder if it means she can change any future, even her own. Her gaze shifts to the back of a male student, Heathcliff, and she clutches her chest. Just then, the school bell rings, and Lisa abruptly stands up from her desk, startling her friends. She has made up her mind about the future. She thinks about how in the original game, she and Heathcliff never ended up together, but now, she believes she can make it happen with the power of the heroine. During the lunch break, Lisa runs through the school's courtyard. She knows that around this time, Heathcliff is usually at the gazebo selling strange things. She thinks that while she used to resent being reborn as the heroine, she now sees it isn't bad at all, especially since she and Heathcliff aren't family in this world, meaning she is free to fall in love with him. She feels she has the power to shape her own future and arrives at the gazebo, spotting him sitting inside. Heathcliff sees her and calls out her name, asking what's going on and if she skipped lunch just to come looking for him. Lisa, blushing, thinks to herself, "Yeah, maybe so." Heathcliff laughs and exclaims, "Yes, I'm loved." He then immediately switches into a sales pitch, offering her a parchment that grants love and a clock that makes hearts race. He holds up a pocket watch, telling Lisa that just for her, he'll give them at half price. Lisa earnestly asks if her wish will come true if she writes a name on the parchment, all while thinking that she doesn't need a clock because her heart is already racing. Her earnestness shocks Heathcliff, who reacts with a loud "He." He asks if she is actually saying she likes him, a guy who isn't even a student, when she is in a school full of handsome and talented mages. Lisa just looks at him, wanting to tell him that she simply wants to know more about him. She then thinks aloud that she is starting to see a path to a future where both Annemarie and Heathcliff can be saved and happy. Heathcliff overhears this and looks confused, asking what she means by "save us." Lisa instantly panics, thinking she sounded arrogant and weird, and tells him to forget she said anything. She reminds herself that she needs to clear the friendship ending conditions first. Heathcliff, however, just smiles and leans in, suggesting they make it a secret, just between us. He jokes that if she's going to save him, he'll hug her either way. This flustering comment sends Lisa into an internal panic, as she thinks she has no immunity to this kind of talk and begs him to keep things within healthy limits. Changing the subject, Heathcliff holds out a sandwich, calling it his special sandwich. When Lisa asks if he's giving it to her, he smiles slyly and says it's laced with a love potion. He tells her that if she wants to become his captive, she should go ahead and take a bite. Looking determined, Lisa thinks, "I accept the challenge," and leans in to take a bite of the sandwich as he holds it for her. After she takes a bite, Heathcliff notices a crumb on her face. He gently wipes the corner of her mouth with his thumb and then licks the cream off his own finger, all while smiling at her. Lisa blushes intensely watching him. She thinks to herself that with all the nervousness and excitement, she couldn't even focus on the taste. But, she reflects, for the first time in her life, the fresh cream felt incredibly sweet and overwhelming. She makes a vow to herself that she will reach the lover's ending no matter what. Lisa then thinks about the conditions for Heathcliff's route, knowing it was just a hidden bonus ending in the game, so the difficulty level is high. She worries that if she can't even achieve the friendship ending, then the lover's ending, which doesn't even exist in the game, will remain just a dream. She steels her resolve, determined to clear every single condition and make it happen. She knows she must build good relationships with all the romanceable characters and, most importantly, not miss a single conversation with Heathcliff, as he is always pulled into the game's main story. Later that night, Lisa is in her room, blushing as she clutches her face. She thinks that even though they only parted at lunch, she just wants to see him again. Knowing they are in the same world makes her unable to stand not seeing his face. She suddenly sits bolt upright in her bed as she remembers the next event where she is guaranteed to see him, the battle tutorial. She decides she might as well use the time until then to grind some levels. A status box appears, showing her as Lisa LV, 2/light attribute, and listing her available magic skills, such as Healing Light and Light Arrow. Lisa stands in a magnificent hallway at the Majoraba Academy, looking out a window at the school's impressive exterior. She is mentally bracing herself, feeling fully prepared to be invited to the after-school activity, which is typically monster battles. She senses someone approaching and sees Prince Stefan walking toward her. Lisa anticipates what he will say, imagining him asking her to escort him to a monster hotspot, apologizing for the short notice but clarifying that it is a royal decree. This is exactly what she wants, as the chapter title reveals her desire to meet him in the tutorial, where she also intends to gain as many experience points as possible. The real event begins, and Stefan indeed asks Lisa for her help in defeating monsters. Lisa is inwardly thrilled, recognizing this as the battle tutorial with the prince. Stefan explains that all students must go through this, reassuring her that he will protect her in the non-dangerous area before enthusiastically suggesting they go. He adds that his official duty is to observe and report on her abilities, though he admits that sounds a bit stiff. Their departure is suddenly interrupted by Annemarie, who storms up to Lisa, angrily demanding to know why she is late and how long she was planning to make her wait. Lisa is stunned by this unexpected change, while Stefan and another girl look on. This other girl, a friend of Lisa's, quickly grabs the flustered Annemarie's arm and explains to the prince that it feels uneasy for just the two of them to go alone, asking if Annemarie can join them. Annemarie, suddenly blushing, then grabs Lisa and insists they must hurry. Annemarie turns to Stefan, asking for confirmation that they are truly going to a monster hotspot as Lisa had claimed. Stefan smiles and warmly agrees. Lisa's friend adds that it will be more fun with more people, and a blushing Anna-Marie concedes she is right. Stefan, looking pleased, says he feels reassured having her by his side, which prompts Anna-Marie to formally announce that she will accompany him. Lisa celebrates this internally, considering it mission complete for successfully bringing Stefan and Anna-Marie together. The new party of 3 walks down a stone path. Lisa reflects on how the game's original tutorial was supposed to be a forced event for only her and the prince. She realizes that since it's fine with 3 people, perhaps she can even invite her other friends, Rose and Dynite. She feels that while the game had romance restrictions, the possibilities in this new reality seem endless. The story then provides an explanation of the world's mechanics, showing a map of the country dotted with dark, monster spots. These are pools of dark magic corruption, and any plant, animal, or object that touches them is twisted into a monster. These spots function like small dungeons that alter the everyday world. They start small, perhaps 50 meters wide, but if they aren't dealt with, they spread and overflow with monsters. There are 2 methods to clear a hotspot. The first is to simply exterminate all the monsters inside, a task even an armed adult can perform if the monsters are weak. The second method is to use Lisa's unique, purifying light magic, which, as shown in an image of Lisa glowing, can purify the miasma and return the monsters to their normal forms. These areas are monitored by the Magic Academy and are sometimes used for student combat training. Back at the entrance to the hotspot, Stefan advises both Lisa and Anna-Marie to be careful and to call for help if they sense danger. 2 armored guards stand watch nearby. Lisa internally worries that this isn't the easy, beginner-friendly tutorial she expected, and with guards present, her plan to gain experience might be meaningless. Stefan then formally initiates the party by saying, "Unite," and cheers, "All right, let's go." Lisa finds this real-life party forming kinda embarrassing, while Anna-Marie just looks confused. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, Heathcliff is walking alone and casts a spell called Shadow Veil. He encounters a monster, dismisses it as annoying, and uses Shadow Step. Dark, shadowy forms rise from the ground to attack the creature, and Heathcliff continues on his way, passing several other defeated monsters. Lisa's group soon encounters their own monsters, which Lisa identifies as low-rank, dark-horned rabbits. She is struck by the feeling of fighting them in real life. The creature is fast, but Lisa quickly casts Light Arrow to strike it. Stefan praises her, explaining to the group that her light magic is super effective against these dark attribute monsters, and he encourages her to keep attacking. He then cheerfully adds that his attribute is water and he can use healing magic, so they have no reason to worry. Lisa finds his explanation way too tutorial-like. Anna-Marie, however, looks excited by this, calling it reassuring. She declares that her attribute is fire and casts Ignite, unleashing a massive torrent of flame that incinerates a rabbit into a blackened husk, a sight Lisa finds brutal. As they fight, Lisa feels magic power flowing through her and instinctively tries to open a status or menu window. She quickly realizes that, unlike in the game, no screen pops up. She can't even see her own level and must instead rely on her intuition to judge the flow of her magic. She recalls that defeating monsters allows her to absorb their magic power, increasing her own. When more rabbits appear, Anna-Marie yells at Lisa to use Dazzling Light to wipe them all out at once. Lisa internally rejects this. Purifying them would mean getting no experience points, and she is focused on her secret goal of leveling up Heathcliff. Instead, Lisa calls the prince over to her and casts Light Shield on him, which is described as a barrier that weakens and can even reflect attacks. Her plan is to use the shielded prince as a cannon, while Anna-Marie attacks from behind. The strategy seems to work. Lisa spots more rabbits, seeing them as shining experience points, and destroys one with an arrow of light. She feels a glow of power and realizes she has leveled up, pumping her fist in celebration. Their progress is too slow for Anna-Marie, who shouts that they aren't getting anywhere and again demands Lisa use Purifying Light. Stefan tells them both to fall back, saying he will protect the area, but he is immediately swarmed by monsters. Lisa then spots the source of the corruption, a dark, glowing flower. She knows that if she purifies that one spot, all the monsters will return to normal. She resolves to use her Prism Light, a special, mana-free magic, deciding it's the only way to get through the danger zone. As Lisa raises her hand to cast the spell, Anna-Marie shouts that it's still too soon. While Stefan is distracted by Lisa's action, a large monster strikes him, making him cry out in pain. The creature throws Stefan backward, causing Anna-Marie to scream his name in horror. She turns to the monster in a rage, her fists burning with fire as she yells, "What are you doing to my Stefan?" Before she can attack, Lisa calmly fires an arrow of light from off-panel, destroying the monster instantly. Lisa checks her status and sees she is only currently LV3. She is disappointed, realizing she isn't leveling up quickly because only low-level enemies are appearing. She thinks that at this rate, she is far from meeting the end conditions and needs stronger opponents. As if her thought summoned it, a massive dark wolf appears in the distance. Lisa is instantly terrified, recognizing it as a dark Asterian, a hellhound of darkness, a powerful monster that isn't supposed to appear here. As she clutches her head in panic, her fear is momentarily replaced by a vivid daydream of Heathcliff leaning in to kiss her. She snaps back to reality with a yelp, only to find the real Heathcliff standing directly in front of her. He smiles, placing a hand on her shoulder and observing, "You're so cold, you know?" Heathcliff leaning casually against a large crate in a storage area surrounded by ropes and barrels. The story then opens on Lisa, who looks confused as she sees Heathcliff kneeling on the ground some distance away. He quickly stands up with a relieved smile, crossing his arms as he explains that he came because he was worried about the ladies and arrived just in time to see his beloved Lisa about to be attacked. Lisa, looking flustered with question marks around her head, wonders where the dark Asterian, the shadow hunter, who was just there, has gone. She realizes Heathcliff must have helped her using magic tools, and she thanks him while he smiles. Her brother, the Prince Stefan, also appears, calling out in surprise. Stefan and Anna-Marie walk up together, and Anna-Marie exclaims how close the prince and her little sister seem. Lisa, however, questions why Heathcliff, a person with no magic power, is at a dangerous monster spot. Heathcliff insists it's natural to worry about his cute little sister, Anna-Marie, who protests that she isn't a child. Lisa watches this exchange, thinking to herself that this scene is different from the game's storyline. Heathcliff then smiles brightly and holds up a cloth, announcing he has something for the brave ladies of the light. He presents a collection of potions, calling it a potion tutorial and an introductory service. He also offers sweet cookies to his lovely sister, Anna-Marie, who tells him to stop treating her like a child while accepting the bag. Lisa watches this, thinking their sibling bond is precious and that Anna-Marie is very loved. Heathcliff then turns to Lisa, offering her a cherry-filled treat to make her swoon, which makes her blush with wide eyes. He adds that he's happy to give one to the prince too, though his main focus is on the girls, leaving Stefan looking confused. Heathcliff then begins his explanation of the potions. He points to the bottles, clarifying that the red one recovers MP and the blue one is an HP recovery potion. He warns that their effect will weaken if used multiple times in one day and that, much like Lisa's or the prince's healing magic, they will not work if someone is already at death's door. He also gives some advice, saying that if they are in a monster spot, it is also a brave choice to escape before things get too dangerous. Lisa raises her hand excitedly, shouting that she understands, and Heathcliff praises her good answer. Anna-Marie looks skeptical, stating she won't buy suspicious potions from him, to which Stefan reacts with, "Ouch, harsh." Heathcliff defends his items, saying his stall sells them at a cheaper price than the Academy's supplies or stores. He then announces that today, he is giving them 3 of each potion as a special gift. Lisa clutches a potion, blushing and thinking it's a blessing to experience this event live. Heathcliff notices her red face and asks if she is okay. He concludes that she must be tired from being at the monster spot for the first time and, saying, "That's not good," he gently guides her to sit down on a nearby log. As Lisa sits, Heathcliff kneels before her, noting she must have walked a lot to get there. He suddenly touches her leg, causing her to yelp, "Eek!" He points out that a part of her body is stiff, and as he massages her leg, Lisa blushes intensely, impressed by his technique. She admits that it's embarrassing but that she can't move her feet, though she notes it is getting better. Nearby, Prince Stefan looks shocked and yells at Heathcliff, calling it a shameless thing to do, while Anna-Marie also looks embarrassed. Stefan then apologizes to Anna-Marie for not noticing her discomfort. Getting an idea, Stefan then copies Heathcliff, kneeling to massage Anna-Marie's leg and asking if it hurts. Anna-Marie looks very flustered, and Lisa, watching them, thinks the whole situation is very odd. Lisa then muses that this feels like a double date and she can't resist how good it feels. Suddenly, 2 large, dark rabbit-like monsters burst from the trees, squeaking as they attack. Lisa, horrified, shouts for Heathcliff to watch out. In response, a dazzling light erupts from Heathcliff's location, striking the monsters. In the next moment, Heathcliff has vanished, leaving only a disappeared outline where he stood. Lisa, Stefan, and Anna-Marie are left sitting on the log, unharmed. Lisa asks if the other two are okay, and Stefan replies that they are somehow. Heathcliff reappears in the bushes farther away, calling out that he was shocked by the brightness. He apologizes, explaining he acted on instinct, but Lisa thanks him for helping them. He then compliments Lisa, saying the dazzling light she emitted was like a goddess descending to earth. Anna-Marie, however, cuts him off, telling her brother, enough. Lisa then tells Heathcliff that the place is still too dangerous for him, showing a brief flash of him being overwhelmed by a dark hand. Heathcliff agrees it seems true, saying it's hard to be apart from his dear sister, Anna-Marie, who urges him not to overdo it. Heathcliff agrees to step back, telling the others to leave the rest to them. He assures Lisa he has plenty of protection for the way back. As he turns to leave, carrying his large bag, Lisa calls out his name. He pauses and waves, smiling as he asks if his fingers left an impression on her, calling her Light Lady. Lisa blushes, agreeing they will meet again. As Heathcliff walks away into the distance, Lisa watches him go. The tutorial mode then resumes. Anna-Marie suggests they try using the MP recovery potion on Stefan, but Lisa holds the potion, deciding it isn't needed yet. Anna-Marie asks if Lisa is just keeping it because her brother gave it to her, which Lisa denies, stating that wasting is never good. The prince agrees. With renewed determination, Lisa declares that they will fight as far as they can with their remaining strength. The three of them re-engage the monsters, with Lisa, Stefan, and Anna-Marie unleashing magical attacks. Lisa reflects that even though they have potions, they need to consider their stamina and finish this soon. Focusing her power, Lisa unleashes a powerful ability, Purification Light. The brilliant light, which Stefan identifies as the prism light, envelopes the area. When the light fades, the dark, menacing monster spot has completely disappeared, leaving behind a peaceful forest and two normal white rabbits. Lisa looks amazed. Stefan and Anna-Marie rush over, happy that Lisa is safe and that the entire area has been purified. Lisa seems modest, saying she didn't just do it because she was asked. The tutorial, with its detailed item explanations, comes to a successful end. Lisa notes that she only leveled up once, concluding that the monsters must have been weak and that she needs to go to stronger monster spots. Her thoughts then drift to the next Heathcliff event. Later, while walking through a large building, Lisa thinks about how she really has to meet everyone. She recalls that the next Heathcliff event occurs after she meets all the targets and attends a tea party at the Duke of Valmouth's house. A flashback shows Heathcliff asking Lisa who she likes, offering to be her matchmaker as a game menu appears listing the targets: Heathcliff, Stefan, Theo, Vinicius, Kaltz, and Kieran. Back in the present, Lisa thinks about Heathcliff and wonders what his face would look like if she confessed she liked him. She considers the targets she has already met: Stefan, the perfect student, and Theo, who is a bit unpredictable. This leaves three remaining targets: Kaltz Kerdane, a clumsy viscount's son who wants to be a knight; Vinicius Mitford, a cool, glasses-wearing marquis son; and Kieran, a passionate younger baron. With a look of determination, Lisa resolves to meet all three of them to build the future she wants with Heathcliff. Lisa walking outside a large academy building, determined to meet all the remaining heroes to conquer the high-difficulty route. She is searching for Kieran and recalls from the game that she should be able to meet him if she gets lost near the academy and ends up late for class. She feels she is in the right place but cannot see him, so she steels herself to say the embarrassing line required for the event. Lisa strikes a deliberately cutesy pose, surrounded by sparkles, and loudly proclaims that she is lost and that this is bad. Almost immediately, she cringes with intense embarrassment, covering her face and thinking that she now understands the effort Anna-Marie must have put in. From the nearby trees, Kieran, who had been watching, looks annoyed. He drops down from his hiding spot and seems surprised that Lisa is acting so naturally around him. He asks if she is Lisa, the light magic user, and she nervously confirms. He introduces himself as Kieran, explaining that he approached her because she seemed like a commoner and he figured she was the only one he could actually talk to. Lisa blushes, thinking to herself that even his rudeness is precious. She remembers that in the game, the protagonist would boldly ask to climb the tree with him, but she feels she cannot be that bold, especially since she is devoted to Heathcliff. Kieran, who has climbed back up and is lounging on a branch, becomes irritated that she is lost in thought and asks if she is even listening to him. As he mutters about his own social awkwardness, Lisa snaps out of it and encourages him to continue. Suddenly, Kieran hops down and steps on a specific spot, springing a rope trap that catches Lisa by the ankle. She screams as she is hoisted upside down. Kieran calmly holds the rope and explains it was a trap he set for any nobles or teachers who might come to complain. Hanging upside down, Lisa blushes and yells that she gives up and will listen, realizing that force is apparently necessary to complete this event. Kieran then cuts her down and notes that she must also be a commoner who gained magical powers. Now sitting together on the tree branch, Kieran asks if Lisa was slacking off in this spot too. He complains that he is fed up with people judging him for his commoner background, angrily questioning what more he needs to learn beyond magic and saying that noble manners make him sick. Lisa listens quietly, recalling that Kieran's past in the Magi Lover game is the most tragic of all. She tries to connect with him, explaining that she also ended up at the academy after unknowingly using magic. This surprises Kieran, and he thoughtfully suggests that they are alike after all. A brief image of empty mugs and bottles flashes as his backstory is revealed. He lived with an abusive, alcoholic father and a sickly younger brother. One day, his father hit his brother, causing Kieran to lose his temper and unleash his magic. Fire erupted from his hands, burning down their house and leaving his father bedridden. He and his brother were rescued by an efficient group from the Magic Institution, who agreed to place his brother in a good care facility on the condition that Kieran enroll at the academy where they could watch him. Kieran angrily shouts that if they were going to stop him, they should have done it sooner, but he admits he was saved. Lisa observes that he must feel powerless. This angers Kieran, who accuses her of letting her guard down around the illegitimate daughter of that wicked duke's family. Lisa is shocked, realizing a negative reputation flag has been triggered. She immediately defends her friends, stating that jumping to conclusions is what nobles do. She suggests he should meet them, pointing out that he and Anna Marie are both fire users and could learn from each other. Kieran is stunned by her defense, protesting that they will just look at him like garbage. Lisa insists they are good people and, getting close, she grabs his face and promises to introduce them, causing him to blush in confusion. He quickly leaps back into the tree, telling her it is time to go and that she should attend her afternoon class. As Lisa leaves, she thinks that while she would like to savor each event, she needs to hurry to the tea party with Heathcliff, so she decides to meet everyone in a row. She heads to the research tower, a facility where researchers and members of magical institutions work. Inside, she finds Villainess Mitford, a tall, glasses-wearing student in a lab coat who is conducting research. He immediately recognizes her as Lisa and, calling her fascinating, holds out a crystal and demands she pour her magic into it. Lisa is stunned by his assertiveness, feeling like a captured alien. Villainess then looks up from his clipboard, realizing he forgot to introduce himself. He states he is Villainess Mitford, and when Lisa cheerfully introduces herself, he bluntly replies, "I know." Lisa feels anxious, noting he is clearly a magic nerd who is only interested in magic and shows no affection. Trying to follow the game's script, Lisa asks him about his magic attribute. He answers water. Lisa remarks that it is a versatile attribute for healing and attacking, but Villainess dismisses it as common, noting that Prince Stefan has the same one. He then clarifies that his own water is like the piercing cold water of winter, while the prince's is like the warm and gentle embrace of spring. He denies any rivalry, calling such ideas ignorant nonsense. Lisa playfully suggests they go to a monster hotspot with the prince to test the temperature difference, but Villainess flatly refuses, stating he is busy with research. When Lisa suggests he ask his parents for time off, Villainess snaps that his parents have nothing to do with it and that he researches of his own will. Realizing she hit a nerve, Lisa apologizes for wandering in. Villainess tells her to go home, as he has already collected her data. As she turns to leave, Villainess looks out the window and spots Heathcliff, disdainfully remarking that the Duke's eldest son is here and wondering if nobles just rest on their status. Lisa spins around, excitedly asking where Heathcliff is. Villainess, annoyed, asks if she is Heathcliff's escort and tells her to leave. Seizing the opportunity, Lisa passionately defends Heathcliff, insisting he is misunderstood and works hard for his family. Villainess seems surprised by her defense and, after a moment, agrees to change his perception of Heathcliff. He looks at Lisa with new curiosity, musing that she is truly interesting. Lisa then runs outside and happily greets Heathcliff, who is waiting. She blurts out that she came to meet him for the event at his house. Heathcliff smiles, crosses his arms and playfully asks if she is a cheater. Lisa frantically denies it. Heathcliff glances back at the research building, saying he hates it because the people inside pry into unnecessary things. He then turns to Lisa, asking what she was doing, sneaking around, and what kind of guy she met. With a stern look, he asks if it could be jealousy. Lisa is shocked by the word. Heathcliff moves closer, trapping her against a wall and demanding to know her goal. Overwhelmed, Lisa thinks that meeting both men is too much service. He tells her to wait proudly for their next meeting before leaning back with a laugh. He lifts her chin, saying her aloofness is part of her charm. He then pinches her cheek, warning her with a smile that if she cheats again, he might do something more intense. As he tells her to be a good girl and walks away, Lisa is left as a blushing mess, protesting that it was not cheating but secretly feeling lucky that he interfered. Lisa stands before a large, arched gateway, observed by 2 armored guards, as she feels energized and ready to meet the final romance target. This world is one where night magicians act as support for magic users. The target she seeks is Kaltz, a romance character who possesses earth magic and is enrolled at the Magic Academy even though he aims to become a knight. Lisa locates the training grounds and hides behind a tree to watch. She sees 2 young men sparring intensely with wooden swords. She knows the Knight Order is a highly respected and elite group for those without magic, whose training focuses on teamwork and sparring with academy students. Lisa feels incredibly tense as she watches the silhouettes of the fighters, worrying that if a wooden sword flew at her, it would hurt badly. She anxiously wonders if the knight will protect her as she expects and tries to guess when and where the planned event will happen. Suddenly, she gets a clear view of the fight and identifies Kaltz as he spars with his older brother, Gunram. She is amazed at their incredible speed. The brothers are arguing while they fight. Gunram insists Kaltz should follow his own path using his magic, but Kaltz yells back defiantly that he will become a knight. Gunram angrily tells him not to waste his innate talent or take the training lightly. Kaltz retorts that he only enrolled in the academy because he was told he could still train there. Their swords clash violently again, and the impact shatters the wooden blades, sending 2 pieces flying directly at Lisa's hiding spot, causing her to scream. Kaltz and Gunram stop immediately and run toward her, asking if she is okay. Lisa is frozen with her eyes shut as the sword fragments thud loudly into the tree just inches from her head. She opens her eyes with a nervous smile, thinking that this, maybe, when as planned. She is confused because 2 swords flew at her, not the single one she had anticipated. She ends up on the ground and apologizes, wondering if her tense reaction threw off the event's timing. Both Kaltz and Gunram offer her a hand to help her stand. Lisa panics internally, flustered by the double knightly escort, and unsure which hand to take. She ends up taking both of their hands. Gunram apologizes profusely, admitting he lost his temper and wasn't paying attention, and asks if she is hurt. As she gets up, Lisa stumbles backward. Both men shout for her to be careful and lunge forward to catch her. Now safely supported by both of them, Lisa thanks them, thinking to herself that at least she was successfully saved. Gunram introduces himself as the captain of the knights and expresses his relief that she, a Magic Academy student, is safe. Kaltz then introduces himself. Gunram suddenly recognizes Lisa, identifying her as the light attribute student from the entrance ceremony. Lisa thinks about Gunram's unfortunate role in the story, noting he's even less fortunate than Heathcliff, lacks a friendship ending, and always places 3rd in popularity polls. Gunram smiles, calling Lisa the headmaster's prize student, and asks if she would be willing to take his foolish younger brother to class. He orders a reluctant Kaltz to escort Lisa properly, stating it's what a knight should do. Kaltz protests but ultimately agrees. The 2 then begin walking silently toward the academy building. Lisa eventually breaks the silence, asking Kaltz if he and his brother were fighting during training. He confirms they were. She points out that he enrolled in the academy for his magic, and Kaltz explains that his brother constantly tells him to quit training and just attend class. He passionately declares that he wants to be a knight just like his brother. He clenches his fist, admitting he knows he has talent for magic and is told he should study it, but his real dream is to be a knight. To his surprise, Lisa smiles and says she understands, adding that she would also look up to a big brother like that. Kaltz brightens up, happy she gets it, and explains that he grew up watching his brother and respects him more than anyone. He then gets embarrassed for talking so much and suggests they run to make it to their afternoon classes. Lisa calmly replies that they are already late anyway and encourages him to tell her more about Gunram. Kaltz looks at her, thinking she is a good person, while Lisa celebrates internally, feeling a sense of accomplishment for having now met all the targets. Later, Lisa arrives back at her residence, only to be confronted by Anna Marie and her two friends, who tell her she is late. Lisa kneels apologetically, thinking she only just made it back before curfew. Anna Marie scolds her for staying out so late and mentions that an invitation for tomorrow's tea party was delivered to her room, but Lisa obviously hadn't read it. Lisa explains she was out all day. One of the friends then whispers that Anna Marie was fidgeting all morning, trying to invite Lisa directly. Anna Marie holds out a formal invitation, stating she cannot stand being in debt and this is a thank you for Lisa's help with Stefan and the monster incident. Since the next day is a day off, she invites Lisa to stay at her family's home, the Valmont Ducal Mansion, for dinner as well. Anna Marie then leans in to whisper that her brother will also be attending and that Lisa's seat will be right next to his. Lisa is shocked, realizing the simple tea party has escalated into a banquet and sleepover. She stammers about needing to prepare, but Anna Marie reveals she brought several of her own dresses for Lisa to wear, and another friend offers to secretly coach her on table manners. The three girls smile, telling Lisa they all decided to help her and advising her to just act charming if she makes a mistake. A grateful Lisa thanks them. They begin trying different dresses. One friend suggests an elegant black dress to highlight her femininity for her partner, Heathcliff, but another argues that cute dresses suit Lisa better. They excitedly pull out numerous options, spinning a dizzy Lisa around as they struggle to decide. Since they can't agree, they ask Lisa for her favorite color to narrow it down. Lisa thinks for a moment, recalling Heathcliff mentioning a color, and makes her choice. Later that evening, beneath a full moon, Lisa is ready in a beautiful deep blue dress that her friends admire. They caution her to be careful with her dress hem and heels as they depart for the mansion. They ride in an ornate carriage and soon arrive at a grand hall filled with guests. As Lisa enters, Heathcliff is there waiting. He welcomes her to the Valmont Ducal House's banquet and gracefully extends his hand to her. Lisa is captivated, thinking his gesture is as elegant as a wizard casting a spell, a moment that guides her into pure bliss, the banquet, which is set to be followed by a pajama party. Lisa finds herself dressed in an elegant gown and seated at a long formal dining table, which is set under a massive ornate chandelier. Outside the grand window, a full moon hangs over the mansion. Lisa looks over and sees that she is seated right beside Heathcliff, who smiles gently. A waiter then places a dish with a large shrimp in front of her, and Lisa immediately panics, feeling it's far too great a reward and wondering how she is supposed to eat it. She glances to one side and sees Anna Marie already munching away at her food with impressive speed. Lisa then looks at her other friend, Daisy, who is sitting perfectly rigid and struggling awkwardly with her own utensils. Lisa remembers that Daisy was supposed to secretly teach her table manners, but she seems too preoccupied. Feeling doomed, Lisa turns her desperate gaze toward her third friend, Rose. Rose notices Lisa's predicament and gives her a knowing, reassuring smile. Rose then gracefully picks up her own utensils and begins to subtly demonstrate how to properly cut and eat the shrimp. Lisa watches and has a moment of realization, mentally thanking Rose for the rescue. Just as she feels one problem is solved, a waiter presents a new challenge, a large, towering strawberry dessert. Lisa is again thrown into a panic, and her mind briefly flashes back to the now useless instructions for removing a shell and cutting up the shrimp. She nervously takes a small bite of the dessert with her spoon. Heathcliff, sitting beside her, smiles gently as he watches. Lisa turns to him and exclaims that the food is absolutely delicious and thanks him for the invitation. Heathcliff replies that he is glad the Duke's banquet suits her tastes. He then compliments her dress, telling her it looks good on her and adding that she looks even more beautiful than usual tonight. Lisa is stunned into a blushing silence by the compliment. Across the table, Anna Marie internally recalls that the dress is one she herself wore 3 years ago. Heathcliff then teases his sister, who tells him to stop. Noticing Lisa's dazed expression, Heathcliff asks if she is feeling unwell. Lisa quickly snaps out of it, insisting she is completely fine and telling herself not to be dazed. Lisa looks toward the large banquet hall window, thinking hard. She knows that if the game's script is being followed, Heathcliff should ask her who she likes soon, and she needs to be ready to answer properly. As the night goes on, she realizes with some disappointment that the event didn't happen. Later, the pajama party begins, and the girls are all in their nightgowns, sitting and lying on a large, comfortable bed. Rose, Anna Marie, and Daisy chat about a salon on Main Street that was recently turned into a patisserie, and they all agree to go together sometime. Lisa lies back with a happy smile, thinking to herself what a pleasing sight this is. Daisy asks if she is getting sleepy. Lisa bolts up, insisting she is not, while internally cheering that Anne-Marie in a negligee is an absolute knockout, a thought that leaves Anne-Marie looking confused. Lisa then admires the adorable lace on Daisy's nightgown. Daisy explains that it's the latest imported design. Lisa is filled with joy, feeling that her unfulfilled girlhood dreams are all flooding in at once. She flops back onto the bed, sighing that just thinking about spending the night under the same sky as Heathcliff is wonderful. Rose giggles, noting that Lisa seems very satisfied. Anne-Marie clears her throat and asks if Lisa's wish to be under the same roof as her brother has come true. Daisy then points out that Lisa was very quiet during dinner. Lisa thinks to herself that she was just overwhelmed by being in the same space as him. Daisy calls her modest, pointing out that any other young lady would at least wish for a moment alone with Heathcliff. This sparks an idea for Anne-Marie, who suddenly suggests that Lisa should go visit her brother since it's too early to sleep. Lisa sits bolt upright in bed, shocked by the suggestion. She admits she wants to see him more but is flustered. Rose laughs, assuring her that the Duke's house doesn't have gossip-loving maids and that any maid who spread rumors would be immediately dismissed. Lisa protests that visiting a man's room at night in a negligee is scandalous. Rose suggests braiding Lisa's hair so it can elegantly unravel later. Daisy then jumps in, offering to lend Lisa her shawl to make her look both cute and modest. Anne-Marie agrees it's reckless but doubts Heathcliff could ignore Lisa like this. Daisy explains that she read in a romance guide that the key is a balance of modesty and allure. Rose adds that her mother told her the same thing. Anne-Marie gets serious, suggesting they also need perfume and that she has some in her drawer. Lisa is stunned by how serious they are, wondering if they are all battle-hardened veterans in love. Anne-Marie holds up a perfume bottle, claiming her grandmother had a legendary technique to charm any man with it. Daisy remarks that it sounds dangerous. Lisa looks at her friends, all smiling and supportive, and thinks that even if their ideas are wild, she is really happy they are so seriously supporting her. Lisa clutches the shawl, feeling thrilled to be cheered on by her friends as she goes to see Heathcliff, thinking she is living her second life as a heroine almost too well. Her friends give her final advice, warning her that being alone with a man for over 30 minutes is a scandal in high society and that she should make it look like she wandered in by accident. With her friends' encouragement, Lisa takes a lantern and stands in the dark hallway, steeling her resolve. She nervously pushes open a large door and announces that she is coming in. She enters a large, dark study and places her lantern on a side table next to a bottle of wine and a glass. She peeks around a bookshelf and sees Heathcliff at a desk, surrounded by stacks of books. He is searching for something, muttering, "Not here," and wondering where that devil could be hiding. Lisa realizes she's found him but is interrupting. As she hesitates, her foot makes a noise. Heathcliff spins around, demanding to know who is there. Lisa steps out, startled, and apologizes for interrupting. She stammers that she just accidentally wandered in. Heathcliff smiles, recognizing her, and walks toward her. He stops right in front of her and says, "That's a lie," causing Lisa to blush in shock. He leans in and asks if this is a night visit. Lisa, flustered, thinks about how she just wanted to see him once before sleep. She finds his intense gaze both dangerous and captivating. Heathcliff observes that she seems very interested in him. He asks if it's because she's had everything and now craves something different. He lists all the other charming princes and noblemen at the academy she could have chosen, mentioning Stefan, Theo, Vinicius, Kaltz, and Kieran by name, noting she gets along well with all of them. He then leans on his hand and asks her directly, "So, Lisa, who do you like?" offering to help her get closer to them. Lisa recognizes this as a critical choice, from the game, one that raises affection levels. She gathers all her courage. She tells him it's none of them and that the one she loves is standing right in front of her. She looks at him and says, "Heathcliff, it's you." Heathcliff's eyes widen in surprise as Lisa thinks that fate can be changed. Relieved, Lisa watches as Heathcliff's expression changes. He says, "Oh." Then, declaring, "Then," he suddenly pushes her back against the table, trapping her. He leans over her, his face inches from hers, and whispers, "You really do like me, huh?" Lisa, blushing and trapped, looks up as he leans in closer. As seen from the window, they are embraced in the study. Lisa thinks to herself that she supposes she will let herself be seduced. Heathcliff and Lisa are locked in a kiss. Lisa is completely overwhelmed. The soft press of his lips feels unreal, and all she can focus on is him. As they embrace, she registers that this is her first kiss. Heathcliff pulls back slightly and whispers, "Good girl." He tells her that she looked so tempting he couldn't resist making her his. He then brushes the hair from her face, giving her a condition. If she wants to keep their kiss a secret, she must obey him from now on. Lisa, still dazed and blushing, is overjoyed, thinking that her feelings finally reached him and he kissed her. She feels she has no regrets in this life. Heathcliff leans in again, asking that if she truly loves him that much, is she willing to give him everything? Lisa shyly answers, yes. He smiles, calling her honest and adorable, and gives her a reward by kissing her gently on the forehead. He then rustles through his things and pulls out a bracelet, telling her it is his mark. He places it on her, saying that a girl as radiant as her should shine even more. Lisa is moved to tears, thanking him and promising to always keep it close. Heathcliff then notices the time and says her time is up. He smiles and promises they will continue this another time. Lisa returns to the girl's room, lantern in hand, where her friends are waiting. Anna-Marie immediately scolds her for being late, pointing out she was gone for 25 minutes. She then notices the new, lovely bracelet on Lisa's wrist. Lisa happily explains it was a gift, but Anna-Marie lectures her that she mustn't carelessly accept accessories from a man. Rose simply notes that Lisa looks happy, and that's what matters. The girls then excitedly crowd around Lisa, demanding she tell them everything that happened. Back in his study, Heathcliff listens from the door, hoping the bracelet will successfully distract Lisa from Anna-Marie. His thoughts then turn dark as he reflects on his past, calling a certain event the greatest mistake of my life. He thinks of his precious treasure, Anna-Marie, and the one time he resented her. A flashback begins, showing Heathcliff as an 8-year-old boy. He was upset about having no magic, and he watched as his parents celebrated the birth of his sister, Anna-Marie, who was discovered to have a strong fire attribute. He looked at his baby sister in her crib, calling her lucky and apologizing for his feelings, saying that as her big brother he should be better. He promised his precious little sister that he would always protect her. As they grew, he constantly doted on her, calling her amazing, beautiful, and the coolest in the world, especially when he heard she could use fire magic. The flashback jumps to 10 years ago, with a 15-year-old Heathcliff working hard in the fields alongside the farmers, covered in dirt. He proudly announces he finished a row. The farmers praise his improvement, recalling how he could barely hold his stance at first and how they worried he'd need a caretaker when he first visited. Now, however, they all rely on him and are reassured to have a future lord who truly listens to them. Heathcliff explains that while people avoided him at first, he kept returning to learn about the land. Now, they trust him with their concerns, which he reports to his father to implement improvements. Their work is interrupted by Anna-Marie, who arrives with a snack basket, telling her brother he's working too hard. The farmers tease Heathcliff, suggesting she's just lonely for his attention, which makes her pout. This happy moment shatters when a man shouts a warning. A giant, boar-like monster is attacking. Heathcliff yells for everyone to run to the windmill and pushes Anna-Marie toward a carriage, telling her to fly to the manor. The farmers panic, torn between protecting their lives and saving the harvest. As the monster lunges at two of them, Heathcliff screams for them to watch out. Suddenly, a massive, fiery arrow engulfs the monster, destroying it in a single blast. Everyone stares in shock at the flame. They turn to see Anna-Marie by the carriage, sparks flying from her outstretched hand. The entire village erupts in cheers for Lady Anna-Marie, their savior. She rushes to Heathcliff, asking if he's hurt, but he just thanks her, saying his little sister is the coolest in the world. As the villagers surround Anna-Marie with praise and thanks, Heathcliff kneels on the ground, his hands clenched in the dirt. He felt miserable, frustrated, ashamed, and was burning with embarrassment. He admits that in that moment, he truly hated his sister for having the magic he lacked. Later, when a farmer asks if Anna-Marie is visiting, Heathcliff coldly brushes him off. Back in the library, his desire for power, no matter what it takes, leads him to find a forbidden book. He uses a drop of his blood to unseal it, and a dark entity explodes from the pages, forming a body. A horned, long-haired demon appears, announcing that he will grant Heathcliff power as a reward. The demon, identifying himself as Elliot, the Demon King's right hand, explains he has bestowed a fragment of the darkness upon Heathcliff, as he has paid the price by unsealing him. Heathcliff, horrified, orders the demon to return to the book. Elliot scoffs, refusing to be commanded by a mere human, and stating they are now equals. Elliot then senses Anna-Marie sleeping nearby, calling her a perfect offering, who will ignite into a great blaze in the future. He declares he will claim her when she enters the Magic Academy. Heathcliff desperately pleads with the demon to take him instead and leave his sister alone. Elliot merely smiles and warns Heathcliff that if he dares tell anyone he will be slaughtered immediately. The demon vanishes, leaving Heathcliff to collapse and weep, apologizing to Anna-Marie. He swears he will protect her from everything from Elliot and any other threat. The flashback ends, returning to the present. Heathcliff, standing by his window, thinks, "Forgive me, Anna-Marie." He has a new plan. He will use Lisa's feelings for him and her power of light to find Elliot. He resolves to use everything he can,